Hi, everyone. It's Jovenello. PCCS was founded in 2006 and provides person-centered supports and services to people with disabilities and their families in the New York City area, from supports in education, employment, and housing to training, counseling, and advocacy initiatives. We have been at the forefront of continuing to expand opportunities for people with disabilities. Our mission is, as a nonprofit organization, to create social change within communities by supporting people with disabilities on their search to identity and acceptance. Our vision is to reconfigure humankind to be genuine and authentic human beings, disabled and non-disabled, creating a society of belonging and helping one another to live a good life. Our core values are support. Our responsibility as human beings is to support ourselves and one another. Equity, to participate in the community, is to have an active citizenship. To be a participating citizen, one must have opportunities which are equitable, which accommodate the differences of all human beings have. Acceptance, one of the most vital components of having a quality of life, is love. It's okay to tell someone that you love them. More importantly, it's okay to show them. To accept one another for who they are and what makes them human can be the most validating experience. It is self-empowering. And our strategy is to help a person build comprehensive supports that will engage and propel them to lead a life that they want to live. Our impact is providing support to Staten Island community and the greater NYC area to help create and facilitate relationships resulting in a more diverse community while providing services to people with disabilities to engage and be a part of their community. Next slide, Nicole. Thank you. These are the services that we provide, and we'll also get into this more later in the presentation. We have day supports, residential supports, independent living supports, career supports, community habilitation, respite, family education and training, and self-direction. A big training that we have is the Disability Ally Initiative, which is run by our Director of Outreach and Engagement, Nisha Tumber. The Disability Ally Initiative was established in 2015 and is a customizable interactive workshop provided to businesses, schools, community-based organizations, and more to learn methods of inclusion and integration of people with disabilities. Through open forums, information sessions, videos, and interactive exercises, participants learn accessibility, communication, and respectful techniques of how to be an ally to people with disability. This workshop is open to all entities that can target specific needs each organization faces. Since 2015, PCCS has facilitated over 200 DAI trainings and has trained over 3,000 individuals. And if anyone is interested in participating, I will also put the contact info of Nisha Tumber, and you can reach out to her as well. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks, everyone. Again, so my name is Gabriella Nuara. I am the Director of Career and Residential Supports here at PCCS. So we're going to talk a little bit about what a direct support professional is, because it is one of the core positions that we have here at our agency, as well as most agencies like ours, and basically what their responsibilities are. So a direct support professional is a direct care worker who works directly with people we support or with people with developmental disabilities. The main goal of a DSP is to work with the person they support on the goals they or their family have advocated that they need to work on to obtain as much independence as possible. Here at PCCS, our DSPs, their main goal is always to provide as much independence as possible, whatever that may look like for each person, because it is different for each person. Regardless of the different programs that we have here, all DSPs work on goals that have been provided by the family or the person, besides our respite program, which we'll get into why that's a little bit different. The DSPs should always follow the code of ethics. So that is some guidelines that we have as DSPs for us to follow in general with any person we support. So we follow a person-centered approach. We want to promote physical and emotional well-being. We want to make sure that we maintain integrity and responsibility, that there's confidentiality, justice and fairness and equity, respect and relationships, self-determination, and finally, we want the people we support to be able to advocate for themselves. And that's part of one of the larger roles that we have here at PCCS, is just advocating for the people that we support, those that have developmental disabilities. There is an explanation of the code of ethics that a DSP would follow. And there's a handout there and a link that you guys can look at if you want to look at that afterwards our presentation. But that is generally what a DSP is part of in the PCCS kind of realm, and again, most agencies. We then have different types of DSP. So regardless of whether you're a DSP in our traditional programs and our self-directed programs, again, this terminology may be a little bit weird for those of you that are not familiar. We'll explain it as we go on. But traditional services are those habilitation services that we have, like community habilitation, day habilitation. The program itself is the same, but different agencies operate it differently. A self-directed program, which is self-direction, gives you the chance to choose your own services so you can live the life that you want. Michelle Toy will talk about self-direction later on. But with self-direction services, the person we support or the family directs their own services. So they have the flexibility of choosing what support services work best for them. They have the flexibility of choosing their own staff, as well as a schedule that works for them. It basically just provides more of a structure for that person based on what it is that they would thrive with the most, whatever that may look like for them.
And just to add in here too, in terms of being a DSP in either side, either traditional or self-directed, and Michelle, feel free to jump in at any point. The main difference here is that on the traditional side, technically the agency is the supervisor and is responsible for coordinating the schedule and, you know, facilitating specific trainings and things of that nature. So you would directly report to the supervisor that you're assigned to at the agency. So specifically at PCS, we have coordinators and managers. So your supervisor would be a PCS employee, whereas on self-direction, that looks a little bit different. And I see that Michelle unmuted, so I'm going to let her take away that piece.
Thanks, Nicole. So with the self-direction side, it's the families that are hiring you. So I'll get into more meat when I get into my section, but you'll be reporting as a direct support professional to the family because they will be your employer.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the programs that we have here at PCCS. So our residential supports review. So we have two programs that are kind of in our residential section of our supports that we provide. So we have our individual residential alternative, or our IRA program. It's also known as a group home program. So we have two group homes currently at PCCS. The group home is a certified setting, which means that it has a lot of regulations that we have to follow that's monitored by our state. And we have 24/7 staffing supports there. So there is staffing not only during the day and the evening shifts, but on the overnights as well. While the people are living there, it is their home. So they do share that home with other housemates or roommates, but it is their home regardless. So they, you know, it works just as your home works. You know, they're able to access everything that they need in their home, and we provide them anything that they may not have access to. We have 3 people that live in each home that we have. Like I said, we have 2 group homes. So we have an all, they're very relatively close to each other, and the location of them is right by CSI. So it's not that very far. It's right on Staten Island. We don't have any group homes in other boroughs at this time. We also have our housing rental subsidy, our HRS program. So this is a little bit different than our group homes because the people that we support have obtained their own apartments. We've helped them to be as independent as they possibly can, and they have become so independent that they're able to have their own apartment. So we've helped them find an apartment, and then we've helped them to move in, and kind of we provide staffing to them as needed. So they don't get 24/7 staffing like our group homes do. HRS supports adults with developmental disabilities who wish to live independently and or receive a rental subsidy, providing funds to pay for housing costs. A person in this program is responsible for paying a portion of their income towards rent, and the subsidy that the state gives them covers the rest of it. So they may not need to pay the full rent, but they do need to pay a portion of it, while the subsidy again covers the rest, and the agency helps them with that. With the help of the staff and the DSPs, or the direct support professionals, the program not only works to locate and rent apartments to those we serve, but it also ensures that people receiving services are supported by staff as needed. So someone living in their own apartment can decide that they need staffing maybe on Wednesdays and Thursdays, specifically because maybe those are the days that they would like to meal prep for the week. So they want the staff to come in at 3 o'clock, and they want the staff to leave at 9 o'clock so that they can help them meal prep. Maybe they can, you know, figure out what the menu is for the week. You know, or it could be, you know, a variety of different things that they may need help with. You know, that's how that program looks for them. And again, the services are designed around the person we support and what kind of goals or assistance they would need in their own homes. Next, we have our community supports review. So again, this encompasses a couple of programs. So there's community habilitation, which is a program that provides habilitative services in the community to facilitate community inclusion, integration, relationship building, and independent skills. Community habilitation supports can include adaptive skill development, development of social skills, leisure skills, appropriate behavior development to help individuals access their community. Examples of community habilitation supports include travel training, independent shopping, community safety and awareness, money management, peer building, socialization, and activities in daily living. And that's just a few. There are others that I'm sure that other people we support have thought of that we probably could not list on this slide, because if they, advocate that they would like to work on something, our goal as an agency is to just make sure that we're providing that. Community habilitation could be a one-on-one with a DSP or in a small group. Services can take place in the home or in the community. So there is no age here when it comes to people that we support in this program. They could be as young as like elementary school children, or they could be older and independent on their own. So the DSP can go into their home and assist them in the home, or can take them out into the community, whether it be just a general place like the mall or shopping center, or they can go on fun trips. Or if there's something that maybe they see that they would like to volunteer at, that's an option for them to do. So that's what community habilitation is. And respite, on the other hand, is a little bit different than our programs, because respite services provide temporary relief from the demands of the caregiving to families to help reduce overall family stress. So the DSPs are the primary caregivers from the continuous support and cared for the loved ones with developmental disabilities. Respite services are provided in the family's home. So whereas every other program that we're talking about today has goals that are being worked on with the person, respite is a little bit different. This is for, families that maybe they are, working and they need some time to maybe go get some grocery shopping done, or if they just need a little bit of a break, whatever that may look like, maybe they need to go do some errands or things like that. The respite DSP will kind of come in and they will kind of just provide relief to the caregiver and, just spend time with the person that we support. There's no particular goals that they are working on. Rather, again, it's just giving that space to the caregiver so that they can go ahead and do what it is that they need to do. Dehabilitation without walls. So this is one of the programs that we provide here. This provides support for young adults who want to develop friendships and relationships with peers and people in the community, learn how to better read and write, or build volunteer experience or work ethic in places where they would like to work or give back to the community. This program operates Monday to Friday during the day. So this is for anyone over the age of 18 and has graduated high school that would like to come into this program. So what the day-to-day looks like there is our vans, our vehicles that we have through the agency go and we pick up the people we support at their homes, bring them to whatever the site is for the day. So we have plenty of places that they volunteer at, as well as our, main building where they use as a sort of a little hub where they have, access to a gym that we have created. We also have a sensory room there. We have a lounge room for video games. We have some worksheets and other like curriculum-based things to help them with skills like, math and reading, writing, anything that they may need to work on. And again, they volunteer in places in the community. They go on trips occasionally. So the DSPs in that program are typically Monday to Friday during the hours of 8 to 4, and they are working in a group setting. So it's not typically just one staff with one person we support. It's typically like 2 staff to a few people we support. Employment services. There are a lot of different employment programs that we have in the world of PCCS. So they are all different based on where the person is at and what they need help with. So these services are for people who are interested in obtaining employment, and that's the end goal there, is for them to obtain and maintain employment. Throughout the different programming, people work on a lot of different variety of skills. So soft skills, maybe just, relationship building, learning how to communicate effectively, resume development. If they don't have a resume, maybe looking at what that would look like and maybe getting some things to put on their resume, like volunteer experiences. Job discovery. Some of them want a job but don't know what, just like a lot of us when we were younger, not knowing what we wanted to do maybe. So helping them figure that out. Internship experience if possible. where they can intern at a variety of different places, and job coaching skills throughout the entire process of that. So that again is another program that looks very differently. So the DSPs there, follow the goals of the person that we support, but they also provide supports when they're in the job. So if someone maybe started in the program, didn't have a job, they do all the development, the discovery, they figure out what they want to do, they get some internship hours, and maybe they finally apply for somewhere and they land the job. The job coach or the DSP that's assigned to that person's case would actually go into the job and assist them during, their working hours. So it is a great way to help the people that we support in the actual working field when they maybe require some help and they don't feel comfortable maybe asking people around them, and they want to look for a friendlier face that they have more of a relationship with.
Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Michelle Toy. I'm the Director of Self-Directed Supports with PCCS, and my departments support individuals who self-direct their services. So self-direction is the practice of empowering people with developmental disabilities to manage the supports and services they receive. They determine who provides the supports and how and where the supports are provided. So in order for a person to self-direct, they need two things. They need a fiscal intermediary and they need a support broker. So the fiscal intermediary's responsibility is mostly administrative tasks. So when it comes to fingerprinting, background checks, and training, those are some of the fiscal intermediary's responsibilities. With regard to a support broker, they can assist the person who's self-directing to recruit staff. So PCCS, again, has both fiscal intermediary and support brokerage services. So there are three main supports that can be placed in a self-directed plan. Supported employment, self-hired community habilitation, and self-hired respite. Supported employment provides supports to individuals to maintain competitive employment. Self-hired community habilitation provides one-to-one support to those individuals to enhance the skills needed to live more independently in their homes or in the community. And self-hired respite provides relief to the caregiver who typically provide care to the individual. With self-hired community rehabilitation, the individual works with their support broker to put together what's called a staff action plan. And the staff action plan is a list of goals that the person wishes to work on as part of their self-directed plan. And some of the goals can include things like money management, can include socialization, community inclusion, and the list goes on and on and on. So with self-direction, the individual has more control when it comes to their staff. So they can choose the staff that they wish to hire. They can set their schedule. They can set their staff's wage. They must evaluate their staff. And depending on the level of education and experience, the person who self-directs has the ability to pay their staff at a much higher rate. So right now, we support individuals whose ages range from 4 years old to 80 years old. So any staff that is interested, it would be the responsibility of the person supported, their advocate or support broker to formally interview that potential staff to see if there is a fit. So if anyone wishes to apply for the positions, Melissa will go over that in great detail. And if needed, I'll piggyback off of that. But that is self-direction. Thank you, guys.
All right, so now we're going to go over our career ladder program specifically for DSPs. And so what this is that PCS is actually really proud that we've been able to develop the career ladder program specifically for DSPs. One of the advocacy movements that we feel very strongly about and that we continue to advocate for is to increase the wage of direct support professionals. So we're really happy that we were able to create this program, the career ladder program, to help increase the amount of money that DSPs are paid through this program. So what exactly it is that it monetarily recognizes employees for their years of experience, seniority, their degrees, and their certifications, which could include AMAP, SKIP, or CPR. It also enhances the responsibilities of DSP so that it is more comprehensive. The end goal of the program is to create a more equitable system for growth and interest in working with PCCS long-term. So in addition to this, we also pay for the National Alliance of Direct Support Professionals membership, which all DSPs have access to, which I believe Gab was talking a little bit about before. And so a little bit more about the career ladder program is that Each December, we accept a new cohort of enrollees into the DSP Career Ladder program. It is broken up into quarters where there are specific trainings that are assigned that need to be completed. There'll definitely be more details if you do decide you would like to join us as a DSP and are interested in learning more about this. We are just trying to provide a brief overview of what exactly this program looks like. So our main contact for this program is Michelle Scotto, which her email is here as well. And so if you do on board with us, Michelle will be able to help walk you through where exactly you would fall in the Career Ladder program and what the opportunities are that are available to you. Once accepted into the program during the first year, employees are required to, like I said, complete the quarterly trainings, which a lot of them are available through our training platform, which is Relias. And then there are some in-person trainings as well. And then there is an expectation to attend quarterly committee meetings to kind of really just be a learning platform for all of the members of the DSP Career Ladder to be able to connect with one another and talk about all of the information that was learned. And again, just really enhance that learning experience by being able to connect with your peers. So on this next slide, it just shows you the breakdown of the base pay and all of the potential increases you can have, again, based on your specific situation. So just some examples here. If you work an overnight, evening, or weekend, there's a 50% increase there. The associate's, bachelor's, or master's degree, so the education piece, as well as your experience in the field. We also have PCCS seniority if you have your driver's license. And then again, the certification pieces, so AMAP, CPR, or SCIP. So like I said, there will definitely be more information about this, but we did just want to provide a brief overview. We're also in the process of developing an admin career ladder, which will be very similar to the DSP career ladder in terms of, you know, what the system looks like in the hourly rate. A lot of the positions we are going to be talking about on the next slide are salary, so that's where it might look a little bit differently. So currently, in addition to the direct support professional positions that we have available, both on the traditional and the self-direction side, once we're done going over this, Melissa will go over a little bit more on how to navigate through our website, but you will see all of the positions here that I'm going to go over pretty briefly listed on the website and some other platforms as well. So we're currently looking to hire for the Director of Community Supports, which is responsible for the overall operation and fiscal accountability of all of the OPWDD community support services that we went over before, which would include day habilitation, employment, community habilitation, and respite. The Director of Residential Supports is responsible for the same things as the Director of Community Supports, except this is for the residential side. So it would be the Housing Rental Subsidy Program, as well as the IRA program. In addition, we're looking for a Director of Clinical Supports, which will provide programmatic support through clinical needs for all of the programs at PCS. So that's including the traditional side as well as the self-direction side. And then we're looking for an Assistant Director of Residential Supports and Assistant Director of Community Supports, which is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day program operations of those specific programs, either on the residential side or the community support side. We have a residential coordinator position available, which is responsible for the safe and efficient operation of one of the residential group homes that we have. It involves quality assurance, training of the staff, preparation of programmatic and financial data and reports, and personnel related responsibilities. A program coordinator for housing rental and subsidy, which is providing support to the community habilitation and housing rental subsidy operated by PCCS, so that independent living program that Gab was mentioning about. Program coordinator of ComHab and respite, which is again the same concept as the HRS program coordinator, except this coordinator position specifically focuses on community rehabilitation and respite supports. A clinical coordinator providing programmatic support through clinical needs specifically to our residential supports team. And then a QI specialist, which will serve as an agency-wide liaison to enhance the quality of support PCS provides through various different methods. We also have an administrative assistant position posted, which will be responsible for coordinating and overseeing all office activities and operations to secure efficiency and support across the agency, with a focus on supporting program administrators. A receptionist position, which will be responsible for handling all of the front desk operations, acting as the key holder for the building, answering phones, mailings, faxes, scans, and interdepartmental messages. A maintenance technician, which is going to be the primary function, is going to be to ensure the operation, safety, and condition of all PCS operated sites. So that would include the group homes that we oversee, as well as the independent living program that we have, and our main office building. A community liaison position, which is going to provide oversight to the administrative departments to ensure fluid communication of daily wants and needs within the agency are fulfilled, as well as building community partnerships and facilitating trainings. And then a human resources generalist, which will serve as a liaison between leadership and employees and advise managers, directors, and employees on organizational policy matters and provide senior support to the rest of the HR team. And I believe this is the last slide for positions. I think maybe this one and one more so on the direct service provider. So direct support professional side, you'll see, like I mentioned earlier, that there are a lot of DSP opportunities, both on the traditional and the self-direction side. This also includes the employment supports, which are also known as job coaches. On the self-direction side specifically, we have fiscal intermediary coordinator, which will be responsible for overseeing the self-direction plan, budget on their caseload. Fiscal intermediary team leader, which will ensure and oversee the fiscal intermediary coordinators and ensure efficient services to those receiving supports from the departments in a manner that is consistent with OPWDD and New York State regulations. And then last but not least, the self-directed liaison, which will be responsible for assisting the FI team with their daily activities and reports. So I know I went through that rather quickly. I'm going to pass it over to Melissa, but we can definitely come back to these slides and answer any questions you may have about maybe any of the specific positions. So I'm going to pass it over to Melissa.
Okay, hi guys. So I'm sorry, did you already went over the hiring process, the benefits? Or no?
No, not yet.
Okay, great. So usually the benefits, it really, first of all, let me say hello again. Let me breathe. And let me share with you guys that the benefits really depends on how many hours you work a week. If you're full-time, you get the full benefits. But it really depends on your department. It really depends on how many hours you're working per week, how many hours you're scheduled to work a week. So that's really important, because in the event that you're scheduled for less than 20 hours, but for some reason you're working more than those hours for that week or consecutive weeks, if in our system you're still scheduled as part-time, we still wouldn't be able to offer you that. So just make sure that if it's something that happens consistently, that's being updated. But that will happen after 3 months of you being here. We will reach out to you once you hit your 3-month anniversary, and we will reach out to you and share with you what you are eligible for. And then you can let us know what would you like, how you would like us to proceed. The holiday schedules are listed there. So one of these holidays that we do observe is called Willowbrook Day. We observe it just in the memory of those that suffered through that. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so I'll move on to the next slide. Well, here's your time accrual. Here you go. Okay, so here are the accruals. It depends on, like I said, part-time, 20 to 29 hours, 30 to 39 hours. Anything over 30 hours, you're considered full-time. And of course, we have about 40 hours. You will receive an email once you hit your 3 months from HR. Your information is private. We just ask you to complete it on a program that we use, which is Ease. And then once you've either opted in or opted out, you will receive an email confirmation. Next slide, please.
I just want to add in too, for the accrual specifically, it's really important to highlight that as you continue on with us, you can see here from this chart, you continue to gain additional personal time that you can utilize. So for example, for a full-time employee, you first start out by accruing 12 hours per month. And then when you're here with us for the second year, then you're accruing 14 hours per month. The third year, 16 hours per month, and then year 4, you'll max out at 18 hours per month. So I think that's one of the really cool benefits of working here, is that the time off accrual really is, in my opinion, great. And it's wonderful to see that as you stay on longer with us, that just continues to increase, because who doesn't like to use their time off?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is my area, so I can speak more in depth about this. So the hiring process, the hiring process that PCCS follows is we find candidates. Some of you come to us, sometimes I have to go to you, but we find them through internet sourcing. We work closely with, I heard somebody mention Workforce One, we work closely with Workforce One, and we kind of just, with other community community partners to just see what job seekers we can identify and how we can help them get employment. The qualification for the candidates are done via pre-screening. Many of our positions do not require a higher education than a high school diploma or GED. So basically, that's just one of the main requirements, a high school diploma and a GED. Currently, right now, because of the situation, we are requiring a proof of vaccination. But other than that, that's really the base criteria. Depending on the position you are applying for, you might get a written test. But that is based on the position. Not all positions require that. Once that is done, whether it's a pre-screening or a written test, we schedule you for interviewing if you want to move forward. And then obviously we move on to the onboarding process, which here is called hiring. There's a background check. Well, I guess so. Well, there's an offer, I'm sorry. But once I get approval, once I've been told that there's a selection, I will then contact you and make a verbal offer, at which point you can accept. I will go back to the hiring manager, let them know you accepted, ask for a start date, and then you will receive your official offer letter from Michelle Scotto. She oversees onboarding. The official offer letter will have your pay rate. It will have your tentative start date, because your start date depends on how quickly the background check is processed. And she'll ask you for the information that needed for the background check. Normally, a background check should take between 10 to 14 business days, but it really depends on how quickly you guys can get the information back to us completed. Michelle Scotto and I work very closely together, so any questions you may have about that, you can speak to either one of us about the onboarding portion. Does anybody have any questions about? Okay, right. So this is the application. This is the application from the PCCS company website. So one of the cool things about this is that there is a as Indeed has something that you can skip over big questions, a quick apply. So this is PCCS version of a quick apply. We just ask you to submit your resume. We ask you to answer some of the they're called knockout questions. Basically, can you provide proof of vaccination? And are you 18 years or older? And do you have a high school diploma or GED? Once that's done, your application gets uploaded, it gets sent to me. I will then, either myself or one of the hiring managers, review it, and then they will share with me how they would like to proceed. We try to stay in contact with every applicant, candidate via email or via phone call, just to let everybody know where they are in the hiring process. Another way we can apply for our positions is through our community partners. As I shared, we do have many positions on Indeed, on Glassdoor. Workforce One works very closely with PCCS, as does the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce and Handshake. Handshake is more for those that are currently college students or are looking to apply via their university. They actually have a job fair coming up on June 2nd. I will be there. So, those are just some of the ways that you're able to identify all of our opportunities with PCCS.
And I think just before we go into questions, I think, Michelle, I don't know if you have your hand raised on purpose. Did you want to share something?
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
I just
didn't
wanted
notice
to
that,
add,
Michelle.
no, it's okay. I wanted you to finish. I didn't want to lose you lose your train of thought there. So I just wanted to add for the self-directed services, self-hired community rehabilitation, self-hired respite, the onboarding process is definitely going to look a little differently, only because remember, it's the employer, that's the family who's going to be reaching out and letting us know that someone specifically is going to be applying. And of course, HR will pull the application for that person based on the family's referral. The other part of that is when completing the agency brokerage application or the self-direction application, there's a referral line on the self-direction application, which specifies the family that's referring. But in the agency brokerage application, there is no referral line to identify. And if there is no family. You're just looking to work with a family. So in that instance, you would put none. So it definitely does look a little different with the self-direction application. But I can put my contact, and I'm sure Melissa is more than willing to answer any questions with regard to the difference between the two applications.
Thanks, Michelle. And so with that, we are going to stop recording so that this way we can answer any questions.